again, but we have to acknowledge that was one of Buriram's best maps. They have to wait until Alpine to strike big again. But can they pull away something solid from a map where they usually do not shine? This is the map of Brazil. This is the map of loss. As we kick off Purgatory, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, buckle in, because it's gonna be a wild ride.
And right off the bat, we are seeing some teams divert their drop spot. Dragon Esports, for example, they did go golf course yesterday and they got hot dropped by R7. Fluxo was a victim, but there's one team that will never change their drop spot, and that team is Buriram United Esports, going for Marbleworks, where they will be sharing close proximity with Fluxo at Quarry. Let's see how that one's going to transpire. Pain Gaming going over to Motorhouse because VP is no longer in the equation. Was spreading out towards the north of Ski Lodge, and Brasilia plus Field taken over by AG.AL.
Oh, dude. I mean, R7, are you kidding me? They were going to hunt for the heads of Fluxo. Mount Villa belongs to Team Fluxo. Now, Raja told us that everybody respects each other. Everybody respects Fluxo in Brazil. Y'all gotta understand, this is the world stage, baby. They don't respect, they don't disrespect, but they want to put your heads on the chopping block. But R7, they better be careful. Yesterday, they were aiming for the heads of Dragons Esports as well. They tried to tease Buriram. They tried to tease Fluxo, and they did not walk away with a single head start point. And thankfully right now at Mount Villa, all cleared up. Fluxo went away. Now golf course as well as Mount Villa belongs to Team R7. That means this Mexican team is starting off with a ton of loot.
I think on top of that, hold on a minute, did Evos just really do that? Flying all the way to Central where our RQ's headquarters are established. Russia instantly punished. Does bring himself back up to his speed. His Ray now hunts for Ma'au. You take care of Ma'au, you take care of long range support. Ma'au down in the low, but still not confirmed. Knockdown Ray to Oscar dash. More than enough time to go for the swing. Coach Yu finding keeper off screen. Evos taking a gamble and it's paying off.
Oh my, Coach Yu finding one for himself as well. RRQ with two more survivors. Abe can get away if he can fast put this out of the place. Gets a double knock, all executed from the back as well. The powerful making God's work play here for the side of RRQ. But a single survivor left standing in the name of Dudes. 2v1. Rasa has got the plasma gun, but Dude says, down you go, baby. You'll always be the kid behind me. 1v1, time turner, aim gone, and 590 plays the meta, but the time turner wins it. And RRQ showing why they the big brothers.
And thankfully, they scored some revives before that elimination was confirmed. Evos, initially it paid off, and then they bit off more than they could chew and almost paid the ultimate price. Rigby ends up breaking his ankles early on, that's why Payne got the point. But Evos, they gotta really feel the hurt. Coach Yu being the only survivor, going over to where Villa and Golf Course are. Thankfully, the teams R7, Fluxo, BRU have already left their town. But Evos, they gotta start from scratch again.
Unlike Avatar, when Indonesia needed him the most, Dudes delivered. What a stand-up play from this buddy here. 3 eliminations, clutching it out up against Evos, who dared take the fight up against them at Central. Initial player taken down from the equation was Russia, just pausing the play. But of course, Evos on the recovery now, trying to get super aggressive, and the Wonder Kid hits a double revival. Evos back in play. We've got 47 players in the lobby, but I'm not too worried at all. Dragons usually hit that revival as well.
Yeah, they really uphold the Hippocratic
There you
oath.
go.
They always make sure they have a comeback medic ready. Everyone is going to be healthy, even though they're not that good. It reminds me of not that good at shooting. No, I gotta finish sentence. Reminds me of the I forgot his name, the sergeant in the war that does not want to pick up a gun. That feels like Dragon Esports now and then, right? They are not the best fighters, but they sure
They're
as
gentle
hell.
dragons. They're the R1. They just like to scan out the area, avoid it if possible.
Yeah, they don't like conflict, but they're not pacifists either. You can't be passive if
Make it offensive! C4 showing that who's boss. Abe. The first one, and Abe is having a terrible time here. Ma'al with a very quick reversal. looking for the save, but that Riptide Rhythm gonna make sure the glue walls cannot be erected around Sifu for the time being. In the meantime, AG.AL going in for the flank. Dude's going in for the finisher. Time Turner was erected. Great glue wall to protect the boys. And now Dude's all alone in the situation. Dragons can take advantage.
Let's see if that RQ can pull it off again. There's a Time Turner. Dude's 1v2. Kiba in the back him up. Great acceptance from Dudes. And now going on to revive another glue wall to block out the damage. Round the corner, Dudes goes.
Are you kidding me?
Another knockdown. This guy is on a rampage.
Freaking hell, 5 eliminations for Dudes. There ain't no stopping him. AG.AL, the sniper of the squad, taking a 1v2. Won't get sprayed down by Yasser and his Bison. But of course, Dudes still alive and kicking. Dragon looking for that recovery on the revival. Blue wall melter, not in their pockets. And the deep freeze will tag up Yasser for quite a bit. And Dudes with the RGS 50. Trying to use whatever in his arsenal to take down the rest of the team members. But I think he's used up quite a bit of his luck already.
It's down to Dudes once more. Abai not in a condition to fight. In fact, he's not even going to share the area. 1v3. Time Turner from Simo. What is Dudes going to do? He's going to try and heal back up. Time is off the essence, but he has enough space to make it work again. Another attempt to swing, and finally it runs out for Dudes. Dragon Esports recovers, and now it comes down to Abai to keep the run going.
Bloody hell. RRQ. Unbelievable stuff out of them. Vitality looking for a little bit of pain. Do they deliver or do they receive? Peter up top has got the shorty in hand. Not much of a rate of fire, but the damage can sustain quite a bit here in terms of battle power. Young with the M590 looking for their opponents, but Vitality, all they find is an empty house as Pain backs away.
See if that rooftop takeover is going to be beneficial for Pain Gaming. As Vitality, they are still in a pretty decent condition, trying to go around the backside of the building. Good wins that one. Kyung ends up going down. Pain Gaming now have a numbers advantage. Vitality attempting to go for a revive, but the pickup is unsuccessful. Koja and Kyung now out of service. Pain Gaming continues to systematically get rid of Vitality, and it might just come down to Dix with a Trogon. 2 from Pain down.
Peter literally ran in there and walked away without a single scratch. The pickup onto his buddy failing. 2v1. Pain Gaming in a lot of trouble here. If they do lose Peter, they will be on a super hard reset. And Vitality actually allows him to get away as they look for their own recovery play here as well. Either way, both squads inside of the circle, and Pain has a vending machine to play with.
And earlier on, we did say that R7, they were flirting with a bit of conflict with Fluxo and Buriram. Now R7 is in the same area as Buriram United Esports. Big revive hit by Pain Gaming. The scan was there by Vitality early on. His Evos makes a full recovery, gets an air supply, and that's gonna stock them up to make their rotation deeper towards the safe zone.
And the dangerous team, I was about to mention them, lost. Finding Peter early on. Falcons, there's not an elimination just yet though, just a shot from afar. Ross making sure everybody still remembers them. He's one of the front runners here at Purgatory. But Buriram still being alive, this should be a record for them at this map. Let's see if they can find a little bit more. Falcons not wanting to mess around with the Brazilian squad. Jump pads their way out of there, but on fire, left behind here.
See,
might just win the sacrificial lap.
Being surprised we're paying. Good shot from Nando Nai. So another 3 points for Lost. Falcons did get majority of the squad away to keep this going.
Really? Is he going to go in for the chase here?
Nah.
Running straight to the jump pad though.
It would be a risky move. They might end up running into Pain Gaming instead.
Yeah, it would be a terrible move. A little late to the party. You know Falcons can shoot them out of the skies, but of course boys are looking for a little bit of a revival here. Evos on the other hand, meeting their big brothers RRQ. Poking the Hornet's Nest early here. Very cheeky from Evos.
And you know that wherever Dragon Esports is right now is a high priority area, because there were 2 R1 scans right on top of them. So Dragon Esports, they obviously don't know this, but we know one of the teams that won that spot is Evos.
Yeah.
They're going to slowly move towards the area. There's an arsenal to work with. It's a pit stop. But it seems like Evos are deciding against that, in fact, falling further away from the circle.
And we might just have a rematch here between RRQ and Evos. Both teams have recovered fully, but as RRQ goes in from the rotation from Brasilia, looking for fields, coming across the rotation path of Evos is just extremely high here.
Wow.
Dragons on the other hand keeping their heads down, trying not to be detected by the players of Buriram, who do have their hands full with R7.
Yeah, there's a UAV just hovering around that crucial zone as well. I believe 4 teams at least. Core Memory, R7, BRU, Dragons, and now Fluxo is about to join the party. This next circle will dictate how that one is going to play out. Favoring BRU, R7, and Core Memory, AG.AL on the southern side, Falcons and Pain Gaming on north. And this is where the great rumbling begins. All the teams are going to converge, and we're going to have a full 48-player lobby duke out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we got to thank Coach Namo and his crazy capability of analyzing these circles. Time and time again, we have seen Buriram get such an accurate read. They have not needed to move for quite a bit now, and because of that, they have the advantage. Dragons flying straight in to the Buriram den, and all they will see is bullet after bullet shooting down their players.
That is a very big risk that they took, but I feel like it's necessary to get themselves some cover, and now you gotta use as much resources as possible. One last glue off for Yasir. If they can make it into the building, there is gonna be a chance, and Mark needs some cover. Great coverage from Yasir to keep his buddy alive. The run now is a bit harder for DRG because they have lost 2 members, but at least they still have a chance to spoil R7.
Yasir, you cannot miss those shots, buddy. Gets a couple of tags onto their backs, and then R7 backs away. Had the golden opportunity. Yasir, 3 eliminations so far, just could not get those accurate connections onto the players of R7, and Mexico gets to play a little bit more. He was fighting Fluxo from afar. Raja's gonna cry now on stage.
This is going to be incredibly important for Fluxo to survive, but the odds does go down. Hutchison and Bobs remove GU. He's just barely hanging on, but thankfully he was able to heal back up. They are tanking the blue, and Evos is not going to let them go easily.
No, not at all, man. I mean, Fluxo, when they go in for this rotation, they have to go up against Buriram and Core Memory. Evos at the very edge of this next circle. For the time being, the blues not hurting them just yet, but you can see the jump pad set up behind Fluxo, and Evos not going in for the reposition, taking down those glue walls, so they have a straight line of sight to that jump pad. And I don't think Fluxo has got enough money to buy another one, so DGWP. But thankfully the blue forcing Evos for a rotation. Fluxo gets to live a little bit longer, but the blue is getting the damage in though.
Yeah, the safe zone did move away eventually from BRU, so that's going to force the Thai Giants to rotate as well. The rematch that you mentioned between Evos and RQ feels like it is destined to happen as Evos makes a southward rotation. They're going to end up behind RQ, who are preoccupied.
And Vitality taken out. I can't even say fairly early. We're heading towards the 13th minute of this game. Insane quality on the world stage. So many teams still alive. That basically means pandemonium awaits us all. Pain now going in for blue wall melters laid out. But Evos this time snuffing out your big brothers. The rematch goes to Evos. Dudes could not save them with a masterful play this time round. Unfortunately, we missed it.
It's not even close. They came from behind and RQ just caught off guard. Falcons and Pain Gaming wrestling for the most important spot in the northern side of the safe zone. Moto VI is positioned very far away to provide cover fire, but it requires the rest of Pain to start and engage. They need an A124 plus that Skylar Riptide Rhythm to do some chaos. Peter does get knocked down, but without any meaningful follow-up, it is not good enough. Peter gets brought back up. Riptide Rhythm was slightly late, and Pain Gaming continues to play this long, drawn-out fight.
Yeah, crazy repositioning here coming through from Pain. Avoiding the battle with Falcons after putting in the initial hurt. Fluxo getting taken out in 10th. The EWC is absolutely insane at this point of time. Pain now focusing on Core Memory. Getting the help from the blue zone as well. Damage has been put on Peter. AC80 looking for those shots. Will find it. And they finish off Core Memory before they can find their way into the circle. Buriram falters as well. All the big teams go down.
And Falcons will use that distraction to make a rotation straight into AG.AL and Evos. And Falcons landing in the middle of the firefight, able to duck into the first floor of the building. Evos will hold the perimeter, but as the siren sounds one last time, at least for the next safe zone, Evos most likely will be the first team to make a move, and Falcons, they gotta be ready to accept this.
And this map It's known at this point of time as the Brazilian map, but if Pain takes on Lost very early on, the chances will dwindle down instantaneously. Look at those grenades rain down on Pain, bringing exactly that to the team members, putting them out in 6. Now Lost, the final team out of Brazil, has to take on both Evos as well as Falcons, who are absolutely sharp with their positioning right now out there on this Purgatory map.
Remember we talked about how DRG needed to make a necessary rotation, and that has kept them in top 5. The only team without a full squad, but this circle is going to force Evos to move. There is a chance that they ended up fighting Lost first. DRG now caught in the middle of the crossfire. Riptide Rhythm from AG.AL, and now it breaks into chaos. DRG targeted by multiple teams, wiped out in 5th, and Evos runs towards Lost.
And Evos actually taking the outer rotation. This puts them in the crosshairs of Falcons, who do not think twice. Taking those shots, grenades won't find a connection onto Russia. Glue wall melted, remain the defense made here by Evos. But the question is, can they get away? Oscar does run through those glue walls, but brings them no knockdowns just yet. Rigby needs one more shot, but Rosa's Conchil has got the rate of fire, but the backup from nowhere.
Great valiant dash to break down the defenses of Lost, to give Evos a fighting chance. 12 elimination, 13 on the dock, and Razia from afar with almost no HP, willing to fight to the death. AG.AL joins the equation and give him a bit of a knuckle sandwich in the face of Evos as AG.AL makes themselves known. Evos out in form. AG.AL now faces against Falcons.
Lost going in for yet another booyah, but with just a single player, this looks nearly impossible. Falcons up against AG.AL. Dew has got the M590 in his hands, but he's not the intended CQC player. Still alive and kicking. He's out of his comfort zone, but still getting the knocks for AG.AL, putting Falcons and their team members 6 feet under. But one final one left standing. Limit missing his AWM shot, not doing him any favors at all.
There's going to be a chance for Limit to clutch this. It needs to be able to identify where Dew and Cypher are at. They're currently still running in a straight line. That shot has to connect. A dash in front, Cypher in the face of Limit. Limit is out in the blue. He's just too tough. AG.AL will find the first booyah in the grand finals.
Second booyah here at Purgatory for AG.AL. Almost became a Brazilian map once again thanks to Lost. But they took their chances down by removing Pain Gaming from the equation, and unfortunately for them, that was just way too open of a final circle. Those defenses just didn't work, and Falcons just playing that high ground advantage so well for themselves.
You know what? You know what, AJ? I think the race is officially on.